Call the City of Hawarden regular City Council meeting to order. It is Wednesday, February 24th at about 5:32 p.m. All are present except for Mayor Porter and Tom Kane. We have a pretty standard agenda tonight, so we'll start with agenda item 1A, approval of the February 10th council meeting minutes.
Yep.
We have a motion by Monty. We have a second by Payne. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes. Agenda item 1B is approval of the February 24th claims for payments. We'll start with Monty. Tim?
No.
Payne?
None, thank you.
John?
None, thanks.
Hearing none, I'll entertain a motion.
So moved.
Motion by Tim and a second by John. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Agenda item 1C is open business from the community. Hearing none, we will move on, and there's no mayor's report tonight. Anything from council comments? Hearing none, we'll move on to staff reports and start with Mike.
Nothing.
Nothing. And do I ask the city attorney?
Nothing to report.
And Gary?
I got just three real quick comments. The Chamber Coffee tomorrow at 10 a.m. at the Hawarden Library, sponsored by NCC. There will be a legislative forum in the council chambers on Friday, February 26th at noon with Senator Randy Feenstra. And the golf course is having a fundraiser dinner and silent auction on Saturday evening in the community center.
Okay. Moving on to other agenda items, we'll jump to number 4, review of the fees, and I'll turn it over to Gary.
Okay. Again, we've made mention at several of our budget meetings about the fees, and the only recommendations that I would have for you, or thoughts that I would have, would be to consider increasing the pool fees and then simplifying and making the peddlers and solicitors fees the same. So those are the only suggestions that I have when it comes to fees. And again, at the pool fees, the increases that I propose will really only increase our revenues probably in the $1,000 category, somewhere in there on an annual basis. So it's not a big issue unless you want to raise the fees more, or leave them the same. It's really not a huge dollar monetary issue for the city, but I think that would put us a little closer to being in line with the communities around us. So, and if you guys have some thoughts or different feelings about them, let me know. We'll, tonight is mainly discussion. We'll have to prepare a resolution at some point to approve them, but
Seemed reasonable, what you had figured, so I'm all for going with that.
Same here.
nobody has any big issues with that. We'll create a, Jim, if you'd create a resolution for our
the only
next
question
meeting.
I have is what are we on track with the baby pool and stuff? If we're going to eliminate stuff, then there's no reason to increase fees if they're not going to have the same benefits as before.
Well, we're in the process. That's all I can tell you. We got folks that are putting a package together for us. So it's our intent. We have every intent to have it open by the time the pool opens.
Like they said, the fee increase isn't out of line by any means.
Yeah.
With the area pools, but if they're gonna lose amenities there, then
yeah,
it's hard to increase a fee.
You know, it'll ultimately be on how much you want to spend. You know, when we get the estimates as far as the filtration system, we should have that. I'm hoping we have that by the next meeting, but for you. But it's been extremely difficult to get anybody to give us any information or get us that. It's just crazy. But
Okay, anything else on that?
okay, thanks.
All right, we'll move up to agenda item number 3, hospital update by Jason Pullman.
evening. Thanks for having me here. And if you've drove around the block, I keep saying that, you'll obviously see improvement happening. Probably the biggest improvement is if you're looking to the south. If you're driving on 12th Street, you'll see the big windows for the patient care area. It really looks impressive. And of course, you'll be seeing the emergency room and the canopy over there. We're circling around, putting the iron up and making significant progress. The plumbers and the electricians are in, starting to set the plumbing, because ultimately we have to set that before we pour the inside concrete, because it's all going to be encased in concrete. So things are moving quite well. It's enclosed, they're heating it, so they're working on it in the heated environment. So this weather, like the snow, is not affecting it at all, and that's a good thing. And so they're making pretty significant progress. Other than that, it's on time, it's right on budget. We're not seeing any problems in that arena right now, and we're continuing to move forward. Another thing that you might be interested in is the Iowa Medicaid program and the challenges that this state has faced. I know that the Medicaid management organizations have extended a month, so they've given the governor a month to get everything wrapped up. There will be 3 contractors, and I've signed one contract right now. I have another one on my desk for review, and we plan to sign the 3rd one shortly after. We have Trinity managing those contracts for us to get our best price, so we have some leverage in that arena, so that's a good thing. Other than that, are there any questions?
Okay. Thanks for keeping us updated, Jason.
Thank you very much.
Moving on to agenda item number 5 is a review of the utility rates, and I'll turn that over to Gary.
We've had numerous discussions about the utility rates, and again, I see no reason that we have to visit anything other than water and wastewater, unless you guys feel differently. And you may not have an interest in water and wastewater either, but I really feel that that's an area, those are the areas that we need to focus on as far as potential increases. If you look at our revenue streams, we're losing money each year on those utilities, and I filled your packet up with information. I wasn't sure what you might want to look at. I just threw out a lot of different scenarios, a lot of different pieces of information that, again, it speaks for itself. We're running a shortfall, and we need to look at increasing those rates, and that's really your call. And I just wanted to give you enough information to make a good decision. You have there's a water and wastewater study that was done in 2013. I think it's still very viable. The numbers may have changed slightly, but not very much. And so I'll leave it at that and let you guys have some discussions and see if you care to make any adjustments or not.
Well, we definitely have to raise some money somehow in that, so I'm all for making a one-rate system if you want to switch more like Orange Cities. That sounds like a good plan, and possibly raising the basic rate, or whatever you call that, separate charge, a couple dollars too. Because we raised it, 10% last year, and that wasn't enough for, we still were 100,000 in debt, so we need to do something more, and it's a good time when none of the other rates have to go up if we gotta bite the bullet.
Yeah, I agree. The water rate side, we're definitely lacking. And if I'm reading this report right, under the scenarios, that 20% increase only increases rates $3 to $7 a month for the average payer. But the wastewater, we are really high yet, so I'm concerned about raising rates on that side of it.
there any other discussion around a flat rate system?
Well, we definitely shouldn't have it reward people that waste. I mean, if I'm gonna irrigate my lawn, I shouldn't get a deal, or you should make it pay more, if anything, but at least the same. Encourage conservation at all, the way we've got it set up, so let's switch that to a one rate or a higher rate for heavy use, either way. But
say at this point, I would support a flat rate. Again, encourages some conservation for some of the heavy users, but also minimizes the impact to some of the lesser users.
so if you plugged in, just say Orange City's prices, just to get some idea of what it would look like next year at this time, to do that and give us some idea if that would be adequate or too much, or that seem reasonable, or
Yeah, I mean, willing to do whatever. Keep in mind, we have a base rate or service charge or whatever you'd like to call it. And then we also have the usage rate. So when we're talking about increasing, it's, do we increase the
Both,
base
yeah.
rate and the users rate, or do we?
$100,000 in debt, something has to move up
I mean, that's,
more than what we did last year.
I can bring back whatever types of scenarios you'd want, and you just tell me. And
You're trying to raise an additional 20% of revenue, right? So, I mean, wouldn't that be your starting point? And then you try and back off, assuming that usage stayed about the same, and
yeah,
and usage, if you're increasing the price, accomplishing what you want, usage is going to drop. So then, if you want to bring stability to it, you're going to have to jack up your base rate.
Figure out in your study here that you gave us that scenario 1 has a 24% increase across the board. So 25% on the base rate, and then the overall increase on everything's 24% combined. And that's where I was getting my $3 to $7 per month for the average user. Just start with that, because that's not a huge increase monthly for a person, water-wise. So your 20% range isn't a ridiculous thing to ask when you're looking at the cities around us and what they're charging. They're way above what we do. I'd use caution though with the wastewater aspect of it. Because when you said at our other meetings we're 30% behind, was that the two combined, water and
No, just
wastewater,
water.
or just water?
Yeah.
Just water.
just water.
Okay.
But, we didn't get there overnight, and I'm not sure you want to fix it overnight. It's one of those things you may want to look at maybe a plan over a 3-year period to increase it so much a year for 3 years or something like that, so it isn't a big sticker shock for folks, But
if next year, if electricity and gas were higher, then we'd have to raise everything again, where this year we have no raises in the other areas, so I think it'd make more sense to jack it up a little higher this year and not have to depend on going up another 10% next year or whatever. Maybe we could actually make it work this year, or close.
Gary, do you need more direction yet? Is that clear as mud direction about the options?
So what are your thoughts? Your thoughts were what, Payne?
I would like to see something drafted or some better numbers along the lines of that scenario 1 for the water rates. You're looking in that 20 to 24% overall increase.
Is that on our wastewater or our water study? Is that what you're looking at?
On
Okay.
the water study, yep.
Okay.
Because that's not a real huge increase. The percentage sounds like a lot. But when you get down to nickels and dimes and what's actually coming out of your pocket, it's only, average of $5 a month. Wastewater wise though, when you're looking at those numbers, we're really high on the wastewater, so we'll have to look at something a lot more conservative than that. Maybe just a 5% or something on wastewater. But like
Yeah,
Tim said,
we put a really expensive system in for Iowa Lamb, and then they left, but we still got to pay for that.
Yep.
That was the problem. It's not a good, it's not an efficient system as much as the others would have been that we could have put in. But we did it, and now we got to pay for it. So it's sorry, but it's got to get paid for.
and then like Tim and John were saying too, take away this giving benefits for people overusing the resources. Penalize them for not doing better conservation techniques.
So you're interested in just the flat rate? Is that kind of what you're saying?
I
That
do a flat rate
Okay.
with around a 20% increase.
How much?
Around that 20%
Okay.
area on water. Wastewater's that tough one, like I said. That's when you're looking at the other towns around us, we're way up there with them.
Yeah. But then again, it's apples and oranges too, whatever their systems are and how they're paying for it and stuff. So you can't really, I'm looking at it saying we're not charging too much. It's one of those things where you can't really.
Yeah, but
Our library costs more than a lot of other libraries, but it's because we got a really good library. Val's doing a lot of stuff that's really beneficial to the community. So it's not always apples to apples.
I'm still in favor of at least a 10% wastewater increase.
Yeah. It's a good year to do it.
You want me to just come back with a couple of options that you might look at and consider, and we can have more discussion?
Sounds good.
Another, a month or something isn't going to make any difference, or 2 or 3. Remember, we have 3 readings of ordinances that we have to go through as we pass, so it'll take 3 meetings for sure after you get an ordinance drafted. But before we draft an ordinance, we'll just come back with some examples first, and then kind of go from there.
Sounds good.
Okay. Anything else on that? All right, moving on to consent agenda item number 6, a request from Hawarden Golf Club for a liquor license transfer to the community center for Saturday, February 27th.
So moved.
We have a motion by Payne. Do we have a second?
Second.
Second by John. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. The next meeting will be March 9th, where we'll review the fees and utility rates again and have a public hearing on the fiscal 2017 budget. If nothing else, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn. Motion by Tim. Do we have a second?
Second.
Second by Payne. All in favor?
Aye.
Right.
We are adjourned.